college space, that's the time where you're trying to figure out who you are, where you want to go. You're really impressionable in terms of trying to fit in with this group, and that group. And it's so easy to kind of lose who you are and become something different outside of yourself. And so the first stop was amazing. We were at Johnson C. Smith University, and we'll be headed to a few other colleges this fall, so I'm really excited about it. So, Chere, tell us about, what you think the number one challenge is, or one of the biggest challenges it is, for women to really just recognize the fact that they're valuable.
I think the biggest challenge is rejection. It's hard for you to know, or you can say, I am this, I am that in the mirror. When you step outside those doors of your home, you're not accepted because you don't look like what social media or TV says. So you can feel like it one way, but then the rejection from the men and the women.
Yeah, I agree. I was watching, or not watching, I just downloaded this new audiobook, and it's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. And I said, let me read this book. And, I was listening to it, and one of the things that he said is that, we get in front of the mirror, we try to affirm ourselves, and we say, I'm beautiful, I'm this, and it comes from a place of not believing that. And so I thought, wow, that's so true. It's like we're almost trying to convince ourselves of something that's already true.
Yes.
And so I thought that was a great perspective. And it's not just in feeling beautiful. It's, I can start this business, I can do this, just having confidence in any area of our life. We do that because we actually don't believe it, Leah, what do you think? What advice would you give, and what do you think is, the challenge that we have as women?
The advice I would give is study yourself. Like, change that from a critical perspective, and use it just like study yourself. And a cool way to study yourself is watch other people that you attract. Just certain behaviors that they have. A lot of times, I want to say 100%, but a lot of times they're reflecting some behaviors that you have in yourself that you may need to tweak a little bit and focus on. So I've become obsessed with just self-awareness. And so it shifts the energy from being so critical on myself, and I have those moments too, but I usually shift it. I'm able to pivot to, what is this moment about? Like, what am I supposed to learn from this? What is it about me? And you can ask the people that you attract. Just ask. Just be very inquisitive and curious about self. It's kind of like, when you build confidence, you build confidence because you practice. Like if you're speaking, the more you practice, the more you study, you can get on that stage and slay, right? If you ain't really ready, then that's when you buckle up and now you choke, right? So that's kind of like the same concept.
I love the idea of self-awareness. I think it's so important, especially with this type of conversation. It's so important to figure out or to know what you're projecting. A lot of times we don't even realize it. We don't even realize. I was in LA a couple weeks ago, and I did Airbnb for the first time. I really liked it. And the guy who hosted me, one of the things that he said when he first met me, he was like, wow, you're really polished and all this stuff. He said, but what are you scared of? And I said, well, first of all, I don't act like you know my life. You don't know me. But when I was talking about a certain subject, he recognized that there was a fear there. And I was like, wow. You're right. Okay. But, I didn't even realize that I was putting that on, because here I am walking into the room believing that I am confident and all of that stuff. So, I love, self-awareness. And I think it's really important for us to be self-aware and recognize, what we're putting out there. Christal, what do you think?
I agree with what everybody has said, and I think as women we deal with this in a total different way than men do. And I would just add that a lot of times we think it's a young woman's thing, but it's just sometimes it's just women. I was having a conversation with a colleague yesterday, and she's gone through having children. Children are grown, and sometimes just feeling unsure of self in a different place in your life. And so one tidbit I would say is definitely social media has introduced a total new level of insecurity to most of us, because you look online and you see what someone else is doing, and you see the life that they've cultivated just for their social media, and you compare it to yourself and you feel bad. And I tell my friends sometimes I put blinders on and I don't look at what other people are doing because it can throw you off. Even if you are strong,
Yeah.
even if you are confident, even the most confident person goes through a moment of uncomfortability and being not sure of themselves. So sometimes you have to shut that out, and not that you're not happy for other people, but you just need to focus on building yourself.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with being self-focused, and I'm really, really big on, putting the blinders off. Stop looking to the left and right on what other people are doing, because it is a distraction sometimes, and then you somehow feel that you're not doing enough. So no, stay in your lane, put the blinders on, and know that you are already enough. You're doing the best that you can. As long as you're showing up fully, and giving all that you got, then you're on point. Stay steadfast, hardworking, stay prepared, be ready so you don't have to get ready, because it's coming for you. Keep it locked right here. We have our surprise guest, Mr. J, who's going to share some nuggets with us right after the break for 5 with the Fellas.
Hey, this is John Legend.
Hey, what's happening, man? It's the King speaking.
Oh, this is Jeremiah.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Gotta be. Sensation Station Network.
Uncle Dan?
Mom? Dad?
If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them.
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside. Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over. As your neighbor, I'll feel safer.
As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change, called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Vince Lombardi once said that it's hard to be aggressive when you're confused. Some of us think that taking our lives to the next level, both personally and professionally, is a confusing and complicated process. Guess what? It's not, and I can prove it. My book, Truisms, will show you how living your life by rules that are so self-evident and obvious, you'll say, I knew that. This powerful yet short, detailed bestseller is on sale right now, under $10. Go to michaelmcfadden.com. That's michaelmcfadden.com, and let Truisms help you to the next level.
This is big business. This is the American West.
Station Network.
See ya.
More connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
All right, so as much as I love the ladies and empowering the women, I also love the guys, right? So, Five for the Fellas, this is the segment where we give the guys an opportunity to have a voice. We like to highlight a few good men because we know that there's more than a few out there who are doing some amazing things. And we also like to get their perspective when it comes to dating and relationships today, right? Because we always like to hear what the guys have to say. It's always good. So today, my surprise guest is none other than Mr. Jay Wilson, who's going to be sharing his story with us about him and his wife. So I'm excited to hear from him and learn, just like all of you guys, for the first time. So, Jay, introduce yourself. Tell the listeners what you do, and tell us about your story.
Okay. First off, it's a blessing to be here, ladies, and thank you for having me. This is my home. I started here as one of the first radio hosts on the station. I used
Look
to
at
co-host.
that. Wow.
This is a full circle moment.
So this is family.
This is family. This is family. So I'm still having a goosebump moment.
Wow.
Well, once again, my name is Jay Wilson. I'm J-Dub, the expert on my social media. He gave me that name, by the way. So everybody always said, "What you expert of?" Ask Prime. But so what I do currently is I have my own company, Full Spectrum Enterprises, and the main bread and butter of that is I do commercials for small businesses using my voiceover talent and my radio background, doing that thing. But I'm also an MC. Host, and just I'm an overall broadcaster, Swiss Army knife broadcaster. My story is one, and the reason I'm here today promoting my 5 Shots to Forgiveness movement. Not just a book. I'm writing a book, not because I'm a great author, not because I'm super interesting, but I have a story that was given to me by God in an experience where I was shot 5 times at close range with a .380. On October 1st, 2015. So I'm coming up on the 2-year anniversary of it, which is why I'm here today, because that's on a Sunday. That's this Sunday coming up. And obviously I survived that tragic event, and my whole tagline with that is triumph over tragedy.
Yes, I love that.
And that goes in a lot of ways. So I had a personal triumph, which is still in progress as we speak right now, of triumph over tragedy, but that's an everyday thing. I'm still triumphing, and I have to.
And we all are.
Yes, absolutely, and that's actually what I wanted to talk about today is. When people hear my story about how I was shot, and it was a case of mistaken identity. So just so I wasn't out there thugging.
Yeah, because I was like, who are you into, sir? Are we really sitting next to you?
I was cripping on a Thursday. No, that's not me.
That lets me feel a little better.
I'm a Morehouse College grad, good man. I got a wife, 14 years, just celebrated my 14-year anniversary.
Love it.
And I have 2 kids, a daughter Jocelyn, son Jordan, 14 and 9, and everything. So, for me, I never thought I'd be caught up in a situation like that. It was a case of mistaken identity. Guy thought I was somebody else. I drove the exact same car as the guy who, the maintenance man who lived in this apartment complex in Forsyth, Georgia, where I got shot.
Wow.
And I literally drove the same exact car, like make, model, everything. And he was having infidelity with the guy's, the mother of his children, who he lived with. I happened to be parked in that spot. Just trying to find somebody else in that apartment complex, a friend of mine who used to work with me at Target back in the day. So just one of those things, and I believe what his mother, the shooter's mother, actually contacted me and told me this. She said, I believe you were put there to prevent him turning the gun on the mother, his children, then himself. She believed he was going to do a murder-suicide, and I got away. So that's pretty heavy if you and obviously you don't know that for sure, but I kind of, I'm a spiritual man, and she's a pastor, by the way, and so it's like, I take your word for it, be honest with you. And so the reason I'm here today is not just to talk about, triumphing over tragedy, but how forgiveness played a part of that. My book is called 5 Shots to Forgiveness. Obviously, 5 shots that I suffer: 1 to my leg, 1 to my throat, 1 to the back of my head, 1 to my stomach, and 1 to my ribs at close range with a .380 once again. And so the fact that I'm even talking to you today, the fact that I have it, without a doubt, and it's not for me, it's actually for everybody else. So I've learned to say this is not my story, but it's a story that I have to tell for everybody else. It's really your story. It's all y'all's story. It's everybody's story that you can share in. And I know God has truly a bigger plan for me, because people I haven't talked to in 20 years are contacting me on Facebook or Instagram. And I had one guy who stayed in freshman year dorm with me at Morehouse, and he lost his marriage, his mother to death, his job, and his home in the span of like 35 days.
Oh my God.
So he had a handful of Xanax pills and Crown Apple Royal, and he was going to chase one with the other, and before he was going to do it, he was going to type a letter on Facebook and be like, peace out, see if anybody noticed.
Yeah.
Before he could do it, he saw the little red circle up there, the notification in your Facebook, such and such commented on Jay's post. It was a post telling everybody what happened to me. He ended up contacting me. We talked by Facebook, and my story, not me, my story essentially saved this man's life.
That's amazing.
So when you think about it from that aspect, we'll do it. Now, why am I here talking with you ladies? And we're talking about, finding a good man and how to,
how
fight
does
for
your
the
wife
fellas.
play into this?
I'm going to tell you how the wife plays into this. I'm bigger than happy wife, happy life. I think you need to have happy marriage. Both people need to be happy. But I'm going to tell you what you need more than happiness. You need understanding, and you need commitment.
Say that, commitment.
Understanding and commitment. Okay. Now the understanding is a work in progress.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, we would understand each other perfectly, and we wouldn't get married till we had everything ironed out. That's not the world we live in. That's not reality. But when you have commitment, my wife was by my side, and let me get a little background on it. My wife and I communicate every morning. We have 2 kids, like I said. We know, okay, who's taking who to school, who's picking who up, this and any other. I'm very business-like in my household. I kind of run it like military in a way. So like I want bath times at 7:30, 8 o'clock. Y'all in the bed at 9. That's not. I'm kind of a taskmaster when it comes to that. I normally always tell my wife where I'm going in the morning. My former coworker, she was my mentee in Target. Like so I raised her up, and she was getting ready to get my old job. I was an executive with Target. I haven't been with Target in years, and so I needed to get some books to her so she could, be ready for, I guess, whatever exam she had to take and interviews are right. And so we changed plans at the last minute. I forgot to tell my wife I had changed plans. I'm like, I'm going to Forsyth. I'm not going to Barnesville right away. She had no idea I was even in Forsyth. She didn't know where I was. So when the police came and contacted her, like, your husband's shot fired. Like, he's not even there and stuff. So you have to understand other relationships with other people. Like, what was you doing in Forsyth? What was happening here? What was doing that? All these questions, and she still wanted to know. But the first thing she did was commit to my recovery before she started bombarding me with this and the other. And commitment is so important because stuff like this will test your marriage.
I love that. And we're going to talk about Jay's story a little bit more after the break. We're going to talk about testing marriage and the importance of commitment and understanding, because I'm totally here for that, especially as a married woman myself. So keep it locked right here. We have more for you right after this.
Well, you'll see what happens. Sensation Station Network.
Major key alert. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council. So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Hi, I'm Viola Davis. Did you know that 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger? Growing up, I was one of those kids. But we can solve this. When we make breakfast happen for kids in our neighborhood, we have the power to end childhood hunger, create bigger, brighter school days, and healthier minds and bodies. Go to hungeris.org and lend your time or your voice.
We're hungry for more.
A message from the Albertsons Companies Foundation and the Entertainment Industry Foundation.
1 in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
Y'all need anything else?
Sensation Station Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie,
this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C. Take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Keep a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D. Help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
You know, oftentimes when I hear a story like Jay's story, I always think like, all right, what is God trying to tell me in this moment? So Jay, what do you think, was this like a wake-up call for you in some area of your life, or what do you think God was trying to tell you in that moment?
In that very moment, man, that's a great question, because I feel like I have clarity so many months afterwards, but in that very moment.
Well, from the situation.
From the situation, and you know what, I will answer your question. In that moment was trust and believe that I got you. I have you.
That's big.
Because I didn't accept dying. And, I was prepared to.
Yeah.
But I didn't accept it, and I never really accepted it in my heart.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, it can't end like this, can it? Because the first shot, he blew out my window, and I was trying to block it, so it went into my leg.
So you were in the car the entire time?
I got out the car after the first shot because it's gun jammed. And I thought I was maybe going to be able to kind of like limp away and run.
Yeah.
I was so hurt that I fell straight to the ground. I was crawling on my hands and knees.
Wow.
And so then I saw him coming around. Like I could see his feet through the bottom of the car. And that is one of the most horrifying feelings.
I can't
you'll
even
ever have.
imagine.
Knowing somebody is literally steps away and they're trying to kill you.
Yeah.
And by the way, I still don't know. All he said was to me, "Why are you here?" That was the only sentence he spoke to me, because after that he yelled into the phone, and he was probably obviously talking to his child's mother, who had been cheating on him, and he thought I was the guy, which I was not. I'm sick of this, bleep and bleep, and turned around and then shot the window out, and he never said another word after that, so I didn't have a conversation with him.
So you mentioned the impact that this situation has had on your marriage. How has it strengthened your relationship with your wife?
Okay, so I will tell you, through financial issues, through not agreeing with what we're doing with the kids, activities, this and the other, blah, 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 even, without putting all my business in, we married, so you understand what goes through marriage, whether you're not as intimate as often as you wanted to be, like you was when you first got together, all the stuff, stresses of life. My wife going through some health issues, fibromyalgia, all that stuff, being depressed about it, all that. We were struggling to connect like we did in 2002.
Yeah.
And so what this did was, freeze everything else out, because right now it's just about me surviving at this very moment.
Yeah.
And all she could do was either be right by my side or crumble. And my wife's from West Baltimore. She don't crumble. So she was right there by my side. And I have to tell you, if you truly want to know if somebody really, really loves you, and I'm going to tell you, we had an argument 2 days before, and I said, you know what, man, forget it. And I kind of waved her off, and I'm not proud of it, but I waved her off. And in my mind, I was like, man, could I do bad all by myself? Could I was, it was just, I'm just being honest.
It's a real conversation we have sometimes.
And, but I know deep down, I love my baby. I love her. I love her more than I probably love myself, man. So, I don't know that I really meant it, but I'm frustrated. So that was the last thing I'm saying to her a lot before this is happening, besides the, who's picking up the kids, blah, blah, blah. That's not real.
Yeah.
So I say, if you really want to know if somebody loves you or not, see if they get shot 5 times. They got a bullet in their head. They're so high on morphine and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But and I don't remember this, what I'm about to tell you. I don't remember this. My wife told me this, and the nurses told me this. When they said my wife was coming to visit me, I started flailing my feet. When I opened my eyes, and she had been there for 3 days, but I was so doped up. I don't remember the first 3 days she was there. So it was like day number 4, and I'm finally getting my wits about me, and she's right there. and my eyes got this big. She said, your eyes got big as oranges or pomegranates. And I was like, so you really want to know how I feel about you?
Yeah.
No, I don't even listen to that Jay that said that crap 3
Yeah.
days ago.
Yeah.
That's how I really feel, because I was doped up. So, they say, like, in vino veritas, when you're drunk, you tell the truth. Same thing with medicine. It's like, you got medical back. Get somebody doped up on morphine, they're going to tell you the truth. I was flailing my feet, and the nurse was like, I'm going to have to stop telling him his wife is coming to visit, because he keeps flipping his feet, and I had a air cast and all that.
Yeah.
So, and I hold on to that, because whenever I feel frustrated, I was like, okay, are you the guy who waved her off, or are you the guy that flailed his feet? I have to remind myself.
So, for the guys that are listening, Jay, and for the women that are listening, what advice, as a married man, you've been through the ups and downs of marriage and relationships, and, you guys are now at a place where you're like, yes, we're in agreement, we're on the same page, we're focusing on what's more important. What advice would you give someone who is contemplating, a man settling down and getting into a marriage? Because there's a lot of fear around that with men today. Like, what advice would you give them, and what type of encouragement would you give them?
Well, the advice I would give them is you need to be worried about knowing yourself for the rest of your life. Know yourself for the rest of your life. Like, you should be in a perpetual process of getting to know who you are.
Yeah.
If you do that, you can get through any situation.
Yeah.
What we have to do as men is we have to stop making excuses and leaning on other things that really aren't the problem of retarding our progress. That's not it. That's not why.
I hope y'all are listening out there.
Because think about what men do to each other.
Yeah.
We're ready to fight. We're ready to shoot each other. I mean, you saw what happened to me, and, and if he didn't have a gun, I would have went at him. So we're ready to do that to each other. So what are we really afraid? We ain't afraid of stuff.
Yeah.
What we are is selfish. What we really are, that's what we really are.
That's
and
I'm not
kissing
right
butt
there.
up here, fellas, wherever the camera. I'm not kissing butt just because I think I'm in front of 4 women. I'm telling you, I've had this epiphany myself.
Yeah.
It was selfishness that was keeping me from being able to grow as a husband.
Yeah.
And not because I needed to kiss my wife's butt and just make her happy, like the happy wife, happy life. I've always been like, man, whatever. What about happy husband?
Yeah.
That is real. Happy husband needs to be, because guess what? Ladies, if you make your husband happy, ain't a thing that man won't do.
Yeah.
The stuff he does not want to do, he will do. If he knows that this woman has my back, there's not a thing I won't do for my wife.
Yeah.
Because even before that, I thought she had my back.
Yeah.
But after this, I know she got my back.
Well, listen, that was a whole sermon from Jay right there. Jay, I would love for you to stay. If you want to stay longer, we'd love to continue to have you a part of the conversation.
I would like to. If y'all,
please stay with us, because we're loving what you're saying right now. So coming up after the break, we're going to dish a little bit about more of what's happening in the news and what's trending. So keep it locked right here. It's No Strings Attached.
Gotta represent. Sensation Station Network.
Yes, that's awesome.
Too much sauce. Hi, I'm Viola Davis. Did you know that 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger? Growing up, I was one of those kids. But we can solve this. When we make breakfast happen for kids in our neighborhood, we have the power to end childhood hunger, create bigger, brighter school days, and healthier minds and bodies. Go to hungeris.org and lend your time or your voice.
We're hungry for more.
A message from the Albertsons Companies Foundation and the Entertainment Industry Foundation.
There's a power you have within you, unlike any other. You can't explain it. It's just there. It drives you, compels you. You cannot ignore it. Do you feel it? It's that power that tells you you can do the absolute impossible. The power that tells you you're more than what you currently are. The power that tells you it's time. Launch. Move. Skyrocket your life with Rocket Sports One fitness gear. RocketSports-1.com.
Your health is at stake. Diabetes.
Diabetes, cancer, heart disease? Yeah, right. I'm too young to worry about all of that. Or am I? Millions of Americans are being diagnosed younger and younger each year. I guess it's really no surprise with how much our lifestyles have changed. More fried fast foods, extreme stress from work. 176 million people in North America consume unhealthy drinks. I know I do. Who could be next? My brother? My sister? Me? I think it's time to make a difference, and so should you. Extreme X2O alkaline water designed to cleanse your body with just 2 simple steps, shake and wait. Not only will it help clean your kidneys, liver, and intestines, but it also helps with weight loss and anti-aging. Sign me up today. AbundantLifeMovement.com. You know, I better go call my sister to let her know about this. You should really tell a friend too, because is it really gonna kill you to shake and wait?
Sound of news in the making.
All right, so what would you do for the D? So if you...
Challenge, baby.
Oh, my.
So there's this big challenge that's like taking over Instagram, and it literally has me cracking up every day. Like every video that I see, I'm like, these people are crazy, and it's not just the D; it's for the P too.
They got all
So Jay, the guys are joining in too. So I really want to ask you guys this question: what would you or wouldn't you not do for a sexual experience with someone? Leah, I'll start with you.
Oh, here we go. So,
I don't know if Mom's watching.
I did one.
You did a challenge?
Okay, guys. I will not do that.
not have these judgy tones in here.
No. But one of the things it was kind of like a response to my past relationship and just the things that you do as a woman, like I lost myself, right?
Yeah.
Lost my voice. Was acting confused or whatever, even though the truth is in front of you, you still just ignore it because things are comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of took that spin on it. A few people liked it. I did not. It's not public.
Okay.
So just so y'all know.
So only a few folks can see
Just
it.
a few folks, Anywho, so yeah, people get crazy. I see some crazy.
But you didn't actually answer.
She didn't. I was getting to that, Jay. I was like, so what would you or would you not do?
Would I not? I ain't going to jail for nobody.
Okay. No. That's a good one.
No.
What would you do?
Well,
yeah. What have you done?
That's loaded. I don't know. I'm pretty open. Man, can't think of anything specifically.
But you're open. We'll keep it at that. You're open.
Yeah, I'm open.
Okay. All right, Christal. What would you or wouldn't you do for the D?
It's so loaded. I will say this. I'm going to enchant my answer because I will not do anything that disrespects Christal ever. Mm-hmm. But when just like what Jay said, when you know a man loves you and he's taking care of you and he's making you feel the way that you should feel, I don't think there's anything outside that you would not do for him outside of a respect level.
Yeah.
I'm not disrespecting myself. I personally, I won't even get into that, but I want to just keep it very safe. But I just think that when you're in a safe place and there's trust there, you'll do anything to make that man happy.
Well, I'll give my little spiel. I will not disrespect myself or go outside of my character for the D. But to keep it safe, I will get married for the D. I'll do that, and I did. All right. Yes. All right, Chere.
Well, I did a video also, and it's public.
Okay. I knew it.
It is public, and so of course,
SHE.
it's dope. It's a dope. I got quite a few likes. People were like, "Oh my gosh, you did it!" Yeah, girls just want to have fun.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I said that I would lock my daughter outside for the D. I skip an audition for the D. I walk off the whole set for the D. To my manager, I quit. But really, I won't. I will not fight for the D. I'm not competing for the D. I'm a really bold, confident woman, and there ain't too much I gotta do, not gonna do for the D. I just don't have to. Mm-hmm. So, but my video was cute though.
Listen, go follow her at Sheree for sure on Instagram to catch that video because it was hilarious.
It's actually on Facebook.
On Facebook,
Sheree
okay. So, all right, Jay, what would or wouldn't you do for the P?
Well, pushing 40 ain't a whole lot I'm doing. I'm married now and been married for 14, 15 years. So, I'm not going to do but so much. But,
yeah.
Before? Well, I done watched that crazy musical for the PD. What was it? Rent? I watched for the PD.
Oh yeah, you must have really wanted it for Rent because I didn't really care for it.
The whole TGIT before it was called that. I was watching Grace, Will and Grace, the first round.
I love it. So is that hard for you guys to do?
I permed this woman's hair. Now this was my wife. My wife can confirm this. I permed
You permed her hair?
I permed her hair.
Oh Lord.
Gloves and
everybody
the thing,
needs a J.
like the brush and the whole
I put them edges for you.
They
real
let
quick.
me. My homies let me have my whole wedding party. Who wasn't my wedding party at the time? It was in my college, but they let me have.
I know they.
Well, she had to go and black. Oh, guess what, girl? And so and when you get, like I said, when you push it forward, you gotta be real with it. But I'll also say,
you won.
I win in that situation.
Yeah, nothing else needs to be said, right? Well, I love this challenge. Some people, didn't feel like it was a good thing for women to do. Of course, a lot of people thought, maybe took it too seriously. And I can understand some points of view. But it was just for fun. It was a fun thing that people were doing. One of my favorites, you had celebrities like Cardi B, Sanaa Lathan, Issa Rae, and Regina Hall. But my favorite was Erykah Badu. I loved Erykah Badu, hands down. So before we move on, does anybody care to spit a few bars about this challenge?
Messages and sis, you better than that. Better than what? When I'm sitting with my girlfriends, we talk about what we did for the D. Better than what? Why you want to kill the person that created the challenge? I feel like, do you, boo? Don't let nobody take your character out of the box. You can do what you don't let them put you in the box. Right. You can do you, have fun, and still be classy. I'm still a classy chick.
There's a stigma that women can't.
Exactly.
We're sexual beings. Women enjoy sex as well as men. We need to get off of that.
Can you say that again? Because first 20 years of my life, it was made to seem differently. On a real tip, that's all we think about.
Yeah.
I've been villainized for being, pretty much a horny toad. And so, and now I'm seeing this openness with women, and of course, black women always get the bad rap because we're over-sexualized. And I think the images are portrayed, but that I'm very comfortable hearing you say that, not just because I'm a horny dog. It's just we.
I for the D. I get on my knees for the D. Turn around and cook something to eat for the D.
Well, there you heard it. If you were wondering, she told
no problems with any of them.
And listen, I love what Christal said, because there is nothing wrong, women, with being sexually confident, right? I think a lot of times we are not, because we're taught to hide our sexuality and not be so sexual without, being, labeled and all that stuff. But guess what? When you get married, that sexuality needs to show up, and you need to be confident, because guess who's going to suffer? Not only your husband, but you will too. Absolutely. So go ahead and get in touch with your sexuality. Be confident with the fact that you are a beautiful woman with curves and whatever else, and embrace all of that and never let anyone make you hide that. Coming up after the break, we have more with your number one source for relationship empowerment. It's No Strings Attached.
Oh, that long for that.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a
I want to be
day.
a football
I want to be
stadium.
a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
If you're looking for that ratchet,
Crank that
You're in the wrong place. It's the nation's urban internet station, Sensation Station Network.
So, we've been having this conversation off air about, the different stigmas or, preferences versus men and women, or pressures, that we have when it comes to sex. And I want to continue the conversation a little bit and talk about, obviously there's a pressure for men because of size, because a lot of people say size matters and performance. But as women too, do we have a fear of performing well with a new partner?
Yes.
How now I want you to expand on that, because it's not just men feeling like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to be criticized for the size, but we have pressures to perform too.
Right. No, I think that I can only speak as a black woman, and having conversations with my girlfriends, and you hear there's so much black women are judged, and there's so much that society puts out on us, and then there's so much we put on each other. So it's like, if you were to acknowledge in a group of girls that I enjoy this, a lot of times because we've been taught that that's bad and that black girls don't do this or black girls shouldn't be into this, you're seen a certain way. And then also men, if you're not, we're in a society right now that glorifies strippers and sexuality.
Right.
So there's all types of different messages, and I would just say that it's dangerous to buy into what other people say that you should be. We come from a history of people that women were our sexuality was paraded and used as something negative, and I think that we have to reclaim that.
Yes.
And it's nothing wrong with having a healthy sex life and enjoying having sex. It doesn't mean that you're a whore. It doesn't mean you're having sex with a lot of people. That just means that you're in touch with yourself.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Bing, 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 bing. All right, so speaking of sex and speaking of the D and the B, would you lie for the D? So all of us are familiar with... Yes, across the board. All of us are familiar with the situation that happened with Kevin Hart, and as it's been unfolding with him and his wife for the last few weeks. Well, 26-year-old Montia Sabag, who was the woman that he cheated with, sat down with the Daily Mail where she revealed that she slept with Hart a total of 3 times over the course of the weekend that they were together in Las Vegas for a weekend of fun in his luxury suite at the Cosmopolitan. She says, I was intimate with Kevin 3 times in the course of maybe 3 days, and it was fun, she recalled. She said, we just get along. We get each other. He's funny. I'm funnier. We had a connection. We had chemistry. We clicked. She said it was fun. He didn't try to woo me. It was just an instant connection. Now, here's the kicker for me. She said, Kevin was very public about his affection towards me. We were hugging, kissing, touching, and it made me believe he wasn't married. Girl, stop. Kevin Hart is a megastar right now. Yeah. Everybody on the face of the earth who's ever been familiar with him knows that he's married to his rib. Right? We all know this. So I don't believe for 1 minute that she did not know that he was married. The moment you figured out who he was, you should have known, oh, I know that he's married. Do you guys believe her when saying she didn't know? He had a whole
ring on. When he was grabbing her, the ring was there.
Yeah.
So stop.
Yeah, but
And the fact,
how you didn't know he was married?
the fact that she recorded that, the fact that she recorded the sexual encounter, lets us know that she knew.
And she claims that she didn't. She claims that it was. She has her suspicions about someone else within their party because it was a group of them that recorded it, not her. So she's refusing to admit
she's
to
in it now
recording
because
it.
she's in trouble. She could be prosecuted for a blackmail, for extortion.
Exactly.
But the fact she knew, there's no way. There's no way that she didn't. I mean, Kevin. The sad thing is, Kevin actually had done an interview with the Breakfast Club.
Yes.
I'm sure everybody saw.
We talked about that.
That where he was talking about how he would not cheat because he didn't trust, and he ended up doing the exact same thing. But there's no way she didn't know that. And I applaud the fact she's trying to backtrack to keep herself from going to prison. But no, ma'am.
No, you knew who you were dealing with. And she claims that she learned of his marriage the second day. And then I'm like, okay, well, if you knew this now, and you're trying to say you're not a homewrecker on day 3, why did you proceed to sleep with him again? So once you have that knowledge, you're saying you were aware on day 2. Why on day 3 would you proceed to engage sexually with a married man?
Dishonesty. Or I'm gonna tell you, remember I said for the men to know who you are.
Yeah.
Women, you gotta know who you are too.
Exactly. Right.
You are not funnier than Kevin Hart. Chere.
No.
So once you lost me
Look,
when you said that. When you said that, you lost me, so I can't trust you.
She's
Anything
and
else.
after Kevin Hart, everybody on social media media went after Kevin Hart as if he was the only one that played a role in this. We're just not going to look at the fact that this chick knew he was married, you're a homewrecker, and you went after him. So, no, not saying that he's not wrong at all, but Heffa, like, no, I hold Heffa's accountable as well. Like, you need to be scrutinized all over, not just him. I can't stand him because his wife is hurt and that woman is pregnant. You got a whole nother, your household ain't right every day you wake up, period.
But we must go back and realize that his wife that he's with now was the other woman in the first time. And I don't hold that woman. I don't know who that girl is. She doesn't even matter. She did not take an oath before God. That's true. That is not. She's not a part of that covenant to me. And I've been married and divorced before, so I feel like when you are responsible to the covenant that you laid. She was not responsible for that. Not saying that she's not wrong, but what I'm saying is she has nothing to do with that. Now, if you're religious, the Bible does say that the person that would go in to that and try to disrupt that covenant is wrong. But Kevin had a responsibility to his wife, but his wife was the other woman before, and when she cheated on him before, she cheated with him before, she had some things to say in social media recently.
But the thing is, you lose him how you get him.
Right.
And she definitely, I mean, she can't, how bad can you be? And then what expectation do you have? Do you think that you were that much more special?
A lot of women do, though.
Yeah, a lot of women
married. If you're married, a side piece, and then it's like, oh, see, I wasn't just a side piece.
No, she was the young thing that came.
She was young, she was exotic, looking, she was different. I think that we have to just, if we're going to call a spade, a lot of times men feel like, oh, I have more money now. This is the woman that looks like the situation. And what we're seeing is that it's not about the looks, it's not about the age, it's his character.
Yes.
That's just his character.
I don't think he stopped. When you say stop and look at you, he hasn't healed.
Right.
He hadn't healed from his other because it just was ongoing, right? She was a part. Yeah, like and
he
you know what?
Healed from his parents not being
from
together.
Exactly. Now you're going deep. But I just Kevin. Bless his heart, on everything. I just really feel like he at this time, and I don't know if he's still doing it, but if he just really needs to leave the pictures and all that stuff, so like her out of the picture for just a second. Like let her, don't bring her into this.
He's public. It's a target on my back because where I am.
That was my issue. It wasn't. No. I think great. You made a public apology, but it was the way that you did it. It was your approach. It wasn't genuine. It wasn't genuine. And if I was a Nico, even though I don't feel bad for her, I wouldn't have received that well.
She's not well either.
No, she's not.
Thank you.
You know what? The two of them are just alike. The new side piece and her just like because listen to what she said. The way he hugged me up in public made me feel he wasn't married. Now, if she said that, how do you think his current wife feel? He put a ring on that. So this is obviously
But she said that their relationship was already broken. There's nothing I could. But she's young and she learned.
Yeah, she's definitely learned, and hopefully she doesn't go to jail for this. So listen. There should be some boundaries to what you do for the D, okay? If we haven't learned anything from this particular story, that's that. And know yourself. Respect yourself. Have some dignity and character. And respect something that you've created and like a covenant, like Christal said that you have. And then if you know someone is within covenant with someone else, respect that too because you don't want that to happen to you. Coming up after the break, we have more with my amazing guest. You don't want to miss it. It's No Strings Attached.
Deliberate dumbing down.
Dumb down society.
Deliberate dumbing down of America.
Dumb down public. Why would they do it?
Sensation Station Network. Radio, not dumbed down.
Vince Lombardi once said that it's hard to be aggressive when you're confused. Some of us think that taking our lives to the next level, both personally and professionally, is a confusing and complicated process. Guess what? It's not, and I can prove it. My book, Truisms, will show you how living your life by rules that are so self-evident and obvious, you'll say, I knew that. This powerful yet short, detailed bestseller is on sale right now, under $10. Go to michaelmcfadden.com. That's michaelmcfadden.com and let Truisms help you to the next level.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. but it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
I am an American soldier.
I'm a warrior and a member of a team.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place this first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade. I am disciplined.
I am disciplined.
Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
Your health is at stake. Diabetes.
Diabetes, cancer, heart disease. Yeah, right. I'm too young to worry about all of that. Or am I? Millions of Americans are being diagnosed younger and younger each year. I guess it's really no surprise with how much our lifestyles have changed. More fried fast foods, extreme stress from work. 176 million people in North America consume unhealthy drinks. I know I do. Who could be next? My brother? My sister? Me? I think it's time to make a difference, and so should you. Extreme X2O alkaline water, designed to cleanse your body with just 2 simple steps. Shake and wait. Not only will it help clean your kidneys, liver, and intestines, but it also helps with weight loss and anti-aging. Sign me up today. AbundantLifeMovement.com. You know, I better go call my sister to let her know about this. You should really tell a friend too, because is it really going to kill you to shake and wait?
It's time for Bae or Buster.
All right, so it's time for Bae or Buster. This is actually one of my favorite parts of the show. The Bae or Buster poll that we do every week, I post a scenario on the gram, right? And I get my followers to chime in, and they tell me if this is totally Bae or if this is a straight-up Buster. This week's Bae or Buster poll, it was a little quiet. We got crickets. I don't know if they just wasn't feeling it, but normally we have tons of comments. But first, I'm going to start with sharing the scenario with my in-studio guest. I'm going to get their response, and then I'll share what a few people had to say on the ground. But before we do that, I do want to say this, because off air we were talking about, this idea of marriage and open marriage and, women kind of being more open, especially when they're dating men or married to men who are public figures or have a lot of money, affluent figures, The problem that I have with that, there's no respect for marriage anymore. It's like, what does it even mean anymore? And I think what happens is it's a horrible representation for people who still aspire, for guys who are growing up and trying to learn about marriage and relationships and who they should be. They're starting to, and this is why we see it all in the media. We're starting to see guys who don't value marriage, who think that, I can, because I have this title or because I have this amount of money in the bank, I am entitled to sleeping with different women and still have somebody at the house holding me down. And that just hurts me on my inside because I love marriage, the ups and downs and all. I love being married. I love having someone for me, specifically for me, that I don't have to share with anybody else, who gets me, I get him, and I don't have to worry about that. And I think that marriage is not respected, it's not valued anymore, and I think that we have to do a better job, especially if you're somebody of influence and you have a platform and people are watching you and they're learning from you. They're picking up your habits. You got to be really, really careful with the messages that you're sending out. Outside of your gift, we respect you for that, but the other things, that other messages that you're sending out that people are also tuned into. Okay, so let's get into this Bae or Buster poll. So this week's scenario, I posted a meme and it says, having a jealous boyfriend or girlfriend is so attractive. Like, yes, babe, get in your feelings. So, I'll say it again. Having a jealous boyfriend or girlfriend is so attractive. Like, yes, bae, get in your feelings. So the question that I posed was, is a jealous bae attractive or not? Let me know if you feel like, this is your kind of bae. You'd like somebody to be a little jealous. Or no, this is a buster. You don't have time for that. So I'm going to start with Jay, being a guy.
That's actually a more deeper, profound question than I thought it was. And I'm going to tell you why, because everything I do, I self-reflect. And so one of the greatest features of my wife is that she is not jealous. She's not jealous. I work around women like y'all. For like the last.
We'll take that as a compliment. Thank you.
You see the roster here at Sensation before y'all. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And it's in Atlanta. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. So I've been around fine, especially black women, fine black women for like the last, almost decade doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And she's just like, hey, did you have a good day? Blah blah. And so that was all good until until one time I was just like. There was a lady I was interviewing on the red carpet, and I'm gonna call her out because she knows what it is, and there was nothing behind it, so I'm not embarrassing her when I say it. But her, Doris Morgado, she's an actress.
Okay.
She's been in the Internship with Vince Vaughn. She's been in a few things, and she did a local movie called Black Hats that was shot right here in Atlanta. And I interviewed her on the red carpet, and I don't want to make a stereotype generalization, but this is what she said to me. She said, "I'm Latin, I'm huggy, I'm touchy, I'm feely, so forgive me." And that's not the other. I was like, it's okay. I mean, and Doris looked like she was molded out of clay. It was ridiculous. That's how fine she is. And so, obviously, I had my hand on my mic and my other hand at my side.
That's right,
when
sir.
I did my interview, right? And my wife didn't bat an eyelid. And then so I started thinking, I was like, well, what would it take for you to get jealous?
Yeah.
Am I not jealous? What? And so I never, so men, we have to watch that because it's like, man, I don't want no jealous girl. This, that. But then when it seems like
she's totally confident.
You'd be like,
She a little too
you
confident.
start questioning, you're like, hey, I may not come home tonight. Hold up. So that's a great question. Me personally, I love the fact that my wife's not jealous because of my profession, and I'm a hugger. I'm just telling you right now, I'm a hugger, so I hug people, but it's nothing by it. I'm hugging around the shoulder blade. So.
All right, so Jay says it's a buster for him. He prefers a confident woman. All right, Leah, let's go to you. Is this bae or is this buster? Jealous boo.
Buster.
Okay.
Because in my space too, it's just kind of like there are a lot of men, and they do say crazy. Somebody wrote a whole novel on a response, and I'm like, oh my God, like if I was with someone, like how would they receive that? But they have to have confidence enough to know. I'm like super loyal. First of all, I'm a horrible liar. I'm a horrible liar. I tried. It's bad.
It's a great trait. Don't worry.
But I'm just saying, they just have to know that, like, and trust. In the moment that I feel like where I have to second guess myself, oh, should I post this or should I say this? I can't. It's too much. Yeah. So Buster all day for me.
All right, Chere, tell us what you think.
It's the flat out buster. Flat out.
Okay, strong with that.
And I'm speaking from experience because one of the most attractive thing about a man is his confidence.
Amen.
First and foremost.
Speak.
I was married to my husband ex-husband was the bomb. It was his insecurities that pushed me further and further and further. I can't stand, and the jealousy was so bad because of my profession. And I would take him with me, but it didn't matter. It was kind of like, if he just saw that on the carpet, it'd have been a problem. It'd have been an argument for like a whole week. There were men discussing me. They didn't know that was my husband, and there would be an argument in my house. So although I didn't even know they were discussing me on the carpet, so it is like a dead, no, it just can't even happen. I hate it. You see how passionate I am about it?
I understand.
Jealousy is, you gotta let it go. Like, I know that you love me, and dude, know that I love you, and we gonna rock together. It ain't nothing else. Yeah, I'm coming home regardless.
Love it. All right, Christal, let us know what you think. Bae or buster?
Definitely buster. Nobody has time for that. I've actually dated one guy that was like that, and what he would do is he would try to put me down because and so it comes from insecurity. And if he felt like, because of what I was around, and I just hope that women don't really feel like that, because those kind of people, men or women, will literally try to attack your own self-esteem. If they see you're confident, it makes their own insecurity seem, get amped up and then they try to destroy you. So stay away from that. That's all bad.
So, studio guests say it's Buster. Let's go really quickly to the gram. Bleezy says, usually Buster, laugh out loud. Jealous Bae has the tendency to also be crazy Bae.
Crazy.
You know what that means.
Yeah, and then we have Nikki Boo 79 that says, jealous Bae is usually insecure, emotionally and physically abusive Bae. When I give you a valid reason to become jealous as your partner, that is when you can be jealous Bae. Other than that, you do you, I will do me, and we can do us together. So there you have it. This week's poll is clearly a straight out Buster. If you find that you're in that situation, run, because those are signs of control. They obviously have insecurity, and you don't want someone to pull you outside of who you are and who you know yourself to be. It's not worth it. All right, coming up after the break, yes, God. Coming up after the break, we have more for you. We're going to be snatching back our power and getting into some more stuff with our amazing guests, so keep it locked right here.
What's a dumb way to listen to an awesome mix of urban hits? Start off.
Sensation Station Network.
Too much sauce.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Marie Callender's knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch. Or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie. But Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special. Sit down and savor. Marie Callender's. It's time to save.
My savings are gone.
Okay, where were they last?
Here, right before I spent them on that vacation to Aruba.
Weird. Not weird. Not saving now means no money later. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Are back with the Snatch Back, ladies. You know I'm all about snatching back our power, understanding our worth, owning all of who we are, and fearlessly communicating that, not just to men, but to the world, so that we can attract everything that God has for us to receive here on this earth. And so one thing that I want to mention, I'm going to mention it briefly because I want to make sure I can hear from all of our guests on what they have coming up. Is focus on yourself, and whatever you want will come. So one of the things that I've found is that we can get so caught up, and we talked about this a little bit earlier in the show, and, it's good that you said that because, we're talking about it a little bit more in the Snatchback. Sometimes we can get so focused on, what we don't have. Sometimes we can get so focused on the fact that our friend just got engaged, and why isn't it not happening for me? This girl just started her business, and it's going well, and why is it not happening for me? My boy just, launched this or accomplished this thing, and, why is it not happening for me? Now, everybody that knows who's a fan of No Strings Attached or is a consistent listener, you know that Jesus is my best friend. And so I am someone who thoroughly believes that when you start focusing on yourself, and more specifically your purpose, and you get busy in that, you won't have time for the distractions. And God will bless you with everything that your heart desires because you're not focused on the other things that are there to distract you. You are focused on the assignment that he's giving you, right? And here I am giving a word like I'm a preacher. But you are focused. But it's so important. As women, we sometimes I feel like we can come from a space of lack and scarcity, and we look at everything as like a lack of resources. So we got to compete. We got to compare. If she get a man, I ain't getting one. She gets this job, I'm not getting one. And we we've got to get out of that space and start having a spirit of expectancy. Why? Because we deserve it, right? And when we focus on the things that we're supposed to be focused on, when we focus on ourselves, the desires of our heart will certainly come. And so that's my little tidbit. We won't go any further and ask anybody else because we'll stay there forever. But I really want to talk about what Chere has coming up and what we're going to be doing tomorrow because it's really, really important. So we're going to be bowling. And tell us what we're going to be bowling for.
Yes, so a friend of mine, good friend, Z Mullen, she does a lot of fundraising. So one she does every year, this is the 8th annual, I believe, it's sickle cell awareness. And I have two friends, they were both sisters that lost their lives to sickle cell. After we got out of high school, they actually passed away. And so it's really dear and near to my heart. Right. And I love the fact that it's so big. Like this fundraiser is so big. It's not even, it's called a celebrity bowling, but it's so many celebrities come out, but they don't even want to be advertised. That's because the meaning of it is so purposeful. And the way this year she'll have the national director of Sickle Cell Foundation that will be there as well. She gives out plaques, she gives out money, of course. The money actually goes to victims of sickle cell. And then you'll see some victims there that are going to testify about what they go through, what they're dealing with, and how they're staying strong to overcome this. And I'm just hoping that we actually find a cure for it. Yeah. I didn't believe sickle cell was this strong until I actually lost one friend and then the sister died a year later. Yeah. So we're going to be bowling tomorrow. I'm Elaine's sponsor, and I have some dope people on my team. Dominique is one of my people. The second year NFL players are there. Just everybody. If you just Google Z Mullen or if you just Google the Sickle Cell Foundation, the Celebrity Bowling, you'll see it all over social media. It has sold out completely like it does every year. Yeah. But there is still room to buy tickets individually and come out. It's $25 until we reach capacity, which we will reach capacity. It does every year. It's fun. And, if you want to make a donation, just make a donation.
Yes, I was going to say, how can people support? And so we can make a donation by going to what site or what link or?
Go to savvyaffairs.com, SAVVY affairs.com.
Well, I'm so excited to be bowling for a cause tomorrow night and supporting those with sickle cell. I have a very close friend of mine who, her and her husband both have it, but they've been managing it very well. So I'm definitely connected to the disease and definitely there to support those who are trying to find a cure for it. So if you're in the Atlanta area and you want to come out and support us, donate, join a team, whatever, come out tomorrow night. We're going to be bowling for a cause for sickle cell, and I'm so, so excited about it. Coming up after the break, we have our weekend hookup red flags. You're stepping out into the weekend. I need you to be prepared before you engage with Mr. Wrong or Mr. Right. Keep it locked right here.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
The world is changing. And we are changed.
Sensation Station Network. Radio of Dumbbell.
All right, so before we get into these weekend hookup red flags, because I know this is what you guys wait for every week, we're going to talk to Miss Leah really quickly because she has something that I think is really, really important. As a matchmaker and relationship coach, I offer personal matchmaking, date coaching, and image consulting because image is so important, not just in the dating space, but in any space. And people will sum you up within the first 60 seconds or less.
You gotta tell it.
And getting an idea of who you are and who they think you're not. So tell us about, this course that you have or challenge that you have for women to get involved to kind of step up their style and make the best first impression.
I had a 5-day challenge, and that went really well, and I had already created on the back end a 21-day challenge. So that's what we have, a 21-day challenge, and it's for the busy woman who you just need ideas to put some stuff together. Maybe you just lost your creative edge when it comes to your style. So it's super awesome. It's 21. It's created like a menu because my system is style recipes. So it's created just like a menu, and I offer that for $4.99. So it's
Yeah,
no
that's
excuse.
cheap. There's no excuse,
No excuse
guys.
to go
Snatch
there.
it up and
you
get
can
your
find
style
that
together.
at LEAHthecreative.com. LEAHthecreative.com. That's where you find it.
Okay, so go ahead and get that style, and then listen to Leah give you one red flag that you should look out for before stepping into the dating scene this weekend.
I will say, and we've said it a few times here, but when a man shows that he's not interested in his self-development, his own personal development, run.
That's good. All right, Christal, one red flag you would give our listeners, male or female, before dating this weekend.
If someone seems like they're not, if they treat you like you're not a big deal,
Got to be a
realize
priority.
that you are and let them go. Don't
Yes.
don't get caught in trying to show them that you are.
Yes, ladies, we're not out here to prove ourselves. You already are. All right, Chere, what you got?
I would say if he's a texter and doesn't want to talk to you, that's a red flag.
Pick up the phone. All right, Jay.
That was literally what I was about to say.
We can say it 2 times.
Well, I can say if you're conversing with them in any way, interacting with any way, and he can't give full attention, that is a big red flag.
Okay.
Full attention is important.
I love it. And so, I always got to give my tidbit. I only have time for one today, but I think it's a good one. And it's if you're already kind of in a relationship, you're exploring a relationship with someone, and they try to keep score. So one of the fastest and most efficient ways to grow resentful of your partner is to keep score in your relationship. This is not a tit for tat. This is a partnership. This is a team. We're supposed to be in this together. Just because I did something doesn't mean you can bring up what I did, what you did last week or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. So don't keep score. If someone's trying to do that, that's a horrible sign of lack of maturity. They need some growth. I think growth is kind of a common thing that we've kind of been talking about here. So you want to pay attention to that because that's really, really important. You don't need to be competing with the person you're going to bed with at night. Okay? So that's today's show. We've had an amazing show. I've enjoyed my guests, Leah at LEAHthecreative.com, Christal, Jordan, she's a PR publicist, writer for Upscale and Rolling Out. Catch her show starting next week. What is it again, the name?
Music Love Life Show.
Music Love Life Show. It's going to be dope. Chere, actress, host, we already know what she's bringing us every week. And then Mr. Jay Wilson sharing such an amazing story. Make sure you follow his movement. Give us the name of it again.
5 Shots to Forgiveness, 524book.com. That's the numbers, 524book.com. And I'm J-Dub the Expert on Instagram and Twitter.
I love it. You guys know that Fridays are my best days, and I can't wait to see you guys next Friday. Thanks for tuning in. It's your #1 source for relationship empowerment. No strings attached.
Great show. Great.